After I graduated college, I wanted to go back to my home community of Belleville, Illinois, in Southern Illinois, and do something to help folks. I ended up getting a job working as a computer navigator with Illinois Legal Aid online, and it kind of blossomed from there. I had always told myself I wasn't going to work in the legal field because both of my parents worked in the legal field, but once I started working in legal aid and social work, it was just a natural fit. I really love being able to help people, and especially those who really need help the most in some of our communities down south. I currently am a independent Spanish-English interpreter and translator. I work volunteer work for the Migrant and Immigrant Community Action Project in St. Louis, Missouri. In the past, I was a assistant public defender under Supreme Court Rule 711 for the St. Clair County Public Defender's Office. I worked for the Illinois Migrant Legal Assistance Project. Previous to that, I worked as the student organizer for the Southern Illinois University School of Law Self-Help Legal Center. Also, while doing that, I worked for Land of Lincoln Legal Assistance Foundation in East St. Louis, Illinois. And prior to that, I worked as the computer navigator for the St. Clair County Legal Self-Help Center. When someone can't afford an attorney, they really face a lot of barriers, such as they're at the mercy of the court. Some courts may be more inclined to be more proactive to pro se litigants, others are not. Furthermore, they're often at the mercy of the opposing counsel, whether or not opposing counsel will be willing to take into account the fact that they're pro se. Also, I think the most daunting challenge is the fact that when you're representing yourself in court, there's this emotional barrier that comes about that creates this fog of war where someone can't really think clearly enough to make rational decisions on their own behalf and make the best choices, and that clouds their judgment. My parents actually ran into a woman in distress and with her young son, and they didn't speak any English, and they ran into her on Main Street in Belleville, and ended up being just like, hey, 1 second, just hold on, and called me and put me on the phone with her. And it turned out she had just come in from Colombia and was a mail order bride, essentially. And when she got into the situation with the husband, they got married, and then he ended up being abusive, and she left with her son and just started walking down the street. We were able to call the local domestic violence shelter and get her in there, and it was kind of an off day, so I ended up going in and sort of helping them do the intake because I spoke Spanish. I later found out, much later, that she actually was able to get a U visa. They were able to stay. She was able to get divorced and get help, and was now essentially self-sufficient, and her son was doing fine. Her young son was doing great, and they were able to become members of the community after this tragedy. Helping Illinoisans statewide.